but being open and to that change, I think is the biggest biggest takeaway I've learned from this so far, man. Like I was super against moving. I was super against
Mhm.
trying this, but realizing that like now that I'm in a space where I can feel more comfortable, you start to feel a little bit more confident, just by opening yourself up to just different opportunities and different things.
Real big. I knew one day I would do it real big.
Oh man, this is a really special moment, man. So we have my guy Karl Hanner on. It's not really an interview. We're just gonna be talking a little bit about navigating life transitions. I feel like it's a really important topic because people we go through. I think naturally throughout the day we go through transitions, but a lot of times, like year over year, we go through life transitions. You just had a baby. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening right now in terms of your transition. I really want to hear a little bit about like your story and your journey and things like that, man. But Karl, could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Not for sure. So I'm Karl Hanner. As Rob just mentioned, I been all over as far as like we were just mentioning transition. I was a teacher, I was an educator, I was a filmmaker, and currently I am, as my friends would say, an entrepreneur. So it's really just it's exactly where it is right now, man. Like you said, it's a lot. The transitions have been crazy. They've come fast. But to your point, man, like we don't document them. I like to consider myself calculated, but there's certain things that you just can never plan for.
Right.
Never plan for.
That's so real, man. I mean, you're a great content creator. You're just a boss when it comes to a lot of these things. And I feel like the skill set of teaching has led you to be a really cool communicator when it comes to social situations too. Like, like if there's a like if there's a new game or a board game or something, you will explain those rules to a T as if it was like to children. But I'm like, wait a second, I can understand. I'm terrible at games, and, and you be like, yo, like this is how you, yeah, just get. And this is so it comes so naturally to you. I just feel like that's a really dope skill set.
No, man, I realize that that's also just a life skill too, bro. Like,
Real.
uh, my wife, she always tells me that I need to learn how to get more succinct with stuff. So, like, tell a story
Mm,
in a minute, tell a story in 30 seconds, then give me a one sentence story. And I'm like, got it. So, like, now I'm like learning how to break things down in that way. And even with like content creation, bro, like, I can tell you all the technical stuff that goes on behind it, but most people are just like, nah, I just want the video. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, breaking that down into bite sized things is like, that's a life skill, bro. Like, that's for real, I think a good way to be. Plus, it helps you to understand things for yourself. You know,
right.
when you can take a large concept and just speak into the transitions, like, right now, I'm trying to like take apart a whole mountain. But like when you do it in bite-sizable things, it's like it actually feels manageable. It doesn't feel as overwhelming.
Yeah, man. So that's what I was about to say. Like, how do you feel in general? How's life in Texas? 'Cause I know you just moved from New York City to to Texas. How's life, man?
Bro, it's hot. That's the first. I don't get how anybody can deal with the heat of Texas, but I realize too that like there's so many opportunities down here that you I moved to New York from DC, from Pittsburgh and all that other stuff. And I thought that New York was the land of opportunities, and it is. But there's less people willing to help you in New York than there are in Texas, if that makes sense. Like the
Mm,
community is wide open to saying, "Oh, you need this? All right, bet." And what I've come to understand is that they support each other in that way. So, like speaking with some people that I'm trying to do business with now, like when you're in versus, in New York or a lot of like saturated markets, when you're in, it's like you had to beat out 10,000 people to get to this one spot. And hell, you still might be lower on the totem pole than you might want to be. So
Right.
Texas is actually shaping up to be a beneficial thing. And I was so against it at first, man. So against it.
I feel you. And like in terms of those opportunities, because I feel like um in New York you can see opportunities immediately. It's like, oh wait, that could be a business. That's cool. I could do that. I could help a person with that and charge a fee. Um and when it comes to the lifestyle of Texas, does it feel like it's people are just more receptive to receiving an opportunity or being helped by someone, or what do you think the difference is?
That's a good question. So, like in New York, and just speaking on content creation, like right
Mhm.
now, I used to have a network there in New York in which, like, if I needed like something for film or wanted to get up with somebody, it's a phone call and a
Mhm.
train ride away. You
Right.
know what I mean? But like here, you have to go through 5 to 10 different people to get to that one spot. But once you get to that one spot, those same 5 to 10 people are going to go tell 5 to 10 people. So you reach a little bit farther, a little bit
Mm.
faster versus in New York, like it's accessible, but it's not really a community. It's not really a network for real. It's just like you
Mm.
can get what you want and you can do what you want, but it's never going to be someone else helping you. You always got to do it yourself. Versus down here, it's like, each one reach one, which is perfect. I love that.
That's so real, man. I mean, and we were talking a little bit about like the transitions you've made. I mean, I made some crazy transitions too. Well, not even crazy, but just like non-linear transitions, like from the military to like New York to living, basically just being a student and then working in finance for a little bit, realizing, hey, I do want to do real estate development. It's just like, well, what is this man on? You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude needs to figure out his life. Choose something. But I feel like it's important to find that thing that gives you that level of excitement that you're looking for. Unfortunately, I kind of found that in like the business acquisition stuff and real estate development. So I'm like at the beginning of like a long tail vision when it comes to that. But like when it comes to um transitions in general, I feel like people shy away from just changing their environments, but you did it. And you're literally in the midst of a beautiful transition because you talk about like just how it feels in general.
No, for real. Like, and wholeheartedly respecting what you had to go through because it's not easy.
Right.
Like, at no point, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think just as people, man, we like to be comfortable. Everybody
Yeah.
always says, and I just find this to be such bullshit. Like, and sorry in advance for like the language, but like,
Nah.
people are like, oh, I don't want to be rich. I want to be comfortable. What the fuck does that mean? You know?
Facts.
Like,
What is
you just
that?
want slippers and a robe, like that shit's comfortable, but you cannot have a house.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, as people, man, like, we get into grooves and, we get comfortable. Like, whenever I left, similar to what you were saying, like, coming from Pittsburgh to DC and going to school there, I had 4 different jobs at one point,
Dang.
yeah, teaching, working at Discovery Channel, freelancing, and working at Howard was like for real, all of my jobs at one point, all while
Crazy.
trying to graduate and get a master's degree. So it was like I'm grinding. Then I got into the groove of New York where it's like I'm comfortable. I got my teaching job. I can do films or whatever it is that I want on my off time. But
Hmm.
you know, living as comfortable as I was, making good money and knowing my hours, I was burnt. Like that comfortability actually was more damning than it was helpful. Like I knew every 2 weeks I was going to get a check. Um, you know, every 2 weeks I knew exactly how much that check was going to be. And don't get me wrong, that's great. Like I'm paying my rent, I'm paying my bills, but I'm so unhappy.
Hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
a it's a it's a shitty feeling, bro. Like you got your money and you're being comfortable. Like I'm not needing for nothing. I'm not check to check, but like there's no happiness in that. So now I'm in this transition, like you mentioned, like where I'm actually able to do what I want to do and feel good about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to build something that I actually want to build. And I think that with that comfortability, I think there's always that like looking over the fence sort of scenario where like you see what somebody else has and you kind of want that too.
Right.
At least that's how it was for me. So like I always wanted the next job or the next title or the next pay bump. And I thought that that would make me a little bit happier, but it never did, you know.
Yeah.
So down here now, like I mentioned, man, like I'm actually able to do the things that I want to do. I just had this kid. I shouldn't say that way. I just had a kid. So it's like I
K
get to be a
dot.
father. Yeah, man, I get to be a father now. So it's like I'm not burnt. Uh, and I realized that like it's more to life than just work. Like you got to pour more into you and what it is that actually makes you happy and enjoy it, man. Like you only got one life to live, and nobody on their last day is gonna be like, "Hey, I wish I had one more hour of work."
Right. Nobody's
So
like, I should have
it's
sent that email. It's
yeah,
not
you
like
know what I mean. Like, and I realized that that's just the importance of it, man. Like, do the things that make you happy, because at some point, in some way, you'll always find a way to make money off of it. But at the end of the day, you're literally doing what you love to do, and that's where I am now, man. That's the transition here.
that's what's up, man. That's really cool to hear. Um, especially to hear that you're happy. Like as a friend, like that's like
What?
the best thing to hear. It's
Happiness is
like,
invaluable. You cannot put a dollar amount on being happy at all. Like, and I think that that's uh, you know, a scenario in which people just don't realize it. Like, you go through your day to day, or you wait for that weekend, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday brunch vibe, and
hey.
it's just like shit cool. And then you wake up on Monday like, God damn. you know,
Facts.
like,
Seriously.
but like if you're happy Sunday to Sunday, then it's a completely different feeling.
Man, yeah, I feel like that's what everybody's trying to do, or even making it seem like it's like, but it's like, nah, low key, work is ass. You know what I'm saying? Or
Real
at least some
sucks,
days. You know what I'm saying? Work sucks. At least some days.
but you get paid to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I That's awesome, man. And I know that you're doing a few different cool projects down in Texas. Are there any that you want to share, or I was going to ask you a question in relation to that, but yeah, did you want to talk about any of those things?
Yeah, for sure. So similar to what I was just saying, like trying to get those other jobs. I don't think I shared this with you before, but like
Hmm.
I was, man, I've interviewed for so many jobs that like I can almost be an interview coach. I'm saying that. I don't know how true it is, but like a lot of high level positions. I'll share one with you. So one was a company called Hearst, and they own like fucking 30 TV stations.
Hmm.
And they wanted me to be this senior some another. And I got all the way to the final round. I'm down to the last three candidates.
Hmm.
And they passed on me for a person. And
Hmm.
one of the things that like pissed me off is I'm like, damn, like I'm tired of always getting these no's. And I Googled the man that beat me out, right? So I'm like, all right, I wanna know what made this man so special. This man had 6 Emmys. This man had his own broadcast show. This man was writing for a bunch of other things. And I learned that like in life, that's the competition, right? And that there's no recipe for your own success. Uh, and so now that I'm here, I realized that he's doing a project that I had already sort of done in New York,
Wow.
but on a much smaller scale. So I'm like, well, fuck it. Like, if you went ahead and did this in Long Island and this got you 6 Emmys and this high paying job at this big corporation, but I can't get your job because obviously I'm not as qualified. I don't got 6 Emmys.
Emmys.
One day, it's
Goodness.
crazy.
Right.
But
Exactly.
like, and I thought about that and I was like, if I've already been doing that project, I'm going to restart that project. So the project was called Live and in Color. And I'm recreating it down here.
Yeah.
And originally it was about Black actors, musicians, artists, just talking about like how to get their start in New York City. Now, my problem was I
Which
didn't
was dope,
promote it
by the
as
way.
well.
That was very dope.
Appreciate it.
That was very dope.
Now, what I didn't realize, and hindsight being 2020, if I had promoted that way more, one of the actors that's on there, she's producing now for BET. She's in the Producers Guild of America. She's doing big stuff. The other actors writing for Netflix.
Mm.
The model, I don't know if I should say the names, but like all of these people went off to do big, huge projects, bro. Like Calvin Klein, Nike ads, um, Netflix deals, BT deals, Amazon deals. And I looked at that and was like, damn, like that was my network.
Right.
So
It
now in
is.
Houston, it still is. You're right. I can still call them up, but like now in Houston, I'm like, I want to recreate that, but the Houston version. Given that the community is so deep down here and so supportive, I'm starting with restaurants. I actually got to shoot
Oh,
the
what?
7th. Yeah, bro. Shit picking up. So it's like
Let's go.
I got to shoot on the 7th, in which we're going black owned restaurants, black owned businesses, and trying to promote that because again, I saw that that's what got homie his 6 Emmys.
Hmm.
And if I can do that before the black community, because I know for a fact that we support each other, that could be a movement. So that's the
Right.
next project. I got a few things in the pipeline, bro. Like I'm not trying to think too far down the line, but like I mentioned before, I got a huge mountain that I'm just chipping away at. So it's like taking it one step at a time. But I think that in the next, for real, for 3 months, it's gonna be fast and furious.
Let's go. Man, I
Three
love to
months,
hear
bro.
that.
3 months.
And 2022 is a big year, and it's only May. You know
It's
what I'm
only May.
saying?
It's only May.
And like,
And
yeah.
like you mentioned, bro, like it's that transition time, dog. Like taking a step
Hmm.
back to realize what it is that I actually wanted and getting the time to do it, which is also an important thing, right? Like
Mm.
that's a luxury. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like being
Hmm.
able to say that I have the time to do what I want to do. I was joking with my wife the other day, man. I was like, man, this is how Shark Tank shit is made. Like those same things that you
For
look at
real.
Shark Tank and you're like, yo, like how did you come up with this? Well, one day I was home and I had some time to think. And boom, Shark Tank happens.
Right.
That's where I am now. Like I wanna make sure that I have the ability to succeed, which is what not a lot of people actually attempt to do. In
Yeah,
my opinion,
man.
let me not speak for everybody, but
Now, I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily living within the scope of what their purpose might be, or they might not even take enough time out of their normal schedule where they're comfortable and everything to be like, dang, you know what? My real skill is XYZ, or my actual gift to the world is this. Like, I think we were born to create, and the fact that you've been able to tap into this, your network and your skills that you've really built over a couple decades.
yeah,
it You know what I'm
bro.
saying? And this is not easy, and this is not for the faint of heart, but you're out here just taking everything in stride. That's fire, man. That's amazing.
Yo, you just brought up a good point though too. Taking everything in stride, man. Like it's easy to go up. It's hard to come down. And I think
Mm,
that when you have that, like, all right, you might get beat up a little bit on whatever it is that you're trying to do within your transition. But
right.
as long as you don't quit and you take it in stride, like, you know, I've been taking every no that I've got in every interview as a learning lesson. So like
Right.
again, bro, like I'm the king of interviews right now. So like, and for notable
Roast.
companies are like high positions in which like when you figure out why you didn't get that no, to then say, all right, man, it wasn't meant. I hate that phrase. That wasn't meant for me. Or people be like, oh God, I got something better. I hate hearing that. But like you gotta think to yourself like that. Like I do have to still keep pushing. This really wasn't meant for me. What am I supposed to take away from it? So, you know,
Mhm.
like you said, like adjusting, taking it on the chin and just keep pushing. So like as far as content creation, I'll speak on that. Like again, the guy who beat me out had 6 Emmys. Another company that told me no. I saw what they were doing. They owned, it's crazy to say this, they owned the Cannes Festival in France. Like that was
Wow.
their baby. And I'm speaking to them about getting a role within them. And
Mm.
I got an opportunity to like, again, get all the way to like those final steps. But I got to know. And I'm looking at the
Mm.
content that they created and I'm like, damn, I'm already doing this. I'm already
Right.
doing this. Like you guys are telling me no for a position for something that I'm already doing. But again,
Mm.
someone else is beating me out that has the awards, that has the this, that has the that. And you just got to keep pushing. You got to keep striving. I think that's a big, big, big part of it, man.
Right. And really, the no sometimes, those are the biggest blessings. Like that realization that you have the skills to do that stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's like, okay, all right, bet. Let me just like turn on my camera. Let me get this going. Let me do this. Let me call this person. Let me text this person. Like, let me DM them. Let me, you can get on your own grinds. Like, you don't have to do it within someone else's system. You can create your own system.
You
Um,
avoid the
that's so
politics, the
real.
BS, the bull, man,
Yeah.
and it's just. I think if you have an opportunity to work for yourself, albeit you get to set your hours, and sometimes those hours
Right.
might be 24 hours, but
Thanks.
you get a lot of the less hassle, man. Like I don't gotta jump on a call if I don't want to. I don't have to come to your office to talk to you because it's my business. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I think that's sort of beneficial.
Yeah. Um, I mean, and I think based on where, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but like based on where I've been too, I feel as though um the blessing is when you have an opportunity to create your own thing. And like when you create your own thing though, just the way that that social media works and the algorithm things and the fact that it's a fractal, the social media is only going to show it to like a small percentage of people in your network. And so you might start something and really think it's trash just because you got 2 likes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
get you.
when you keep going with it, it's like other people start to see the value of your skill set just by virtue of the fact that you keep going. And it might be 2 people, it might be 3 people, maybe nobody says anything for like months, but I think that skill set of just like basically putting yourself in your personal development gym, that's that's the best right there.
Like that personal development.
Yeah, dog.
You tagged it. I like that. I like that. I
I
like
feel
that a
like
lot.
that is so key, man. Because for me, I got super obsessed with personal development when I like even from high school when I don't this is taking it way back, but like when you like if you don't make the basketball team and then you're like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
show them, let me I'm gonna grow
Yep.
up and be be successful. And like the same thing, just the same situation kind of perpetuates itself in a different form throughout life. But it's just funny to just think about like, but I really like the fact that you're really focusing on starting your own things, because I think that's where the power is. um no matter what stage it is, it's like, especially since it's exciting to you, that's like that's the biggest
Yeah.
blessing right there.
I just joke with Sylvia. I always joke with my wife too. Like, like everybody wants, like every job. I had to keep telling myself it's not about a job, but like every job wants somebody with like, you might have seen the memes, like 5 to 7 years experience for an entry level job. Like,
Right.
what the fuck does that make sense?
None. Makes no sense.
So like, and then it's always that catch-22. So you're supposed to have like that 5 to 7 years of experience for the entry level, or like you're overqualified for certain positions. So where do you actually get that experience, bro? Like, you know, you got to make it.
Right.
You got to make
Right.
it in some way, whether it is you're doing it or whether you parlay with somebody and network, and then y'all do it. But I feel like that's just a thing, man. Like you have to figure out what is worth your time,
Mm,
and work that.
that's so real. That's so real, man. Man, I think we can wrap this up with a bow. In terms of in terms of navigating transitions. If there's somebody listening that is in the process of navigating a transition right now, what advice would you give them in terms of the things they can do to execute today? What would that thing be?
Be open, uh,
Mm,
in the shortest way possible. Like I was very narrow-minded to a lot of things, and just
mhm.
being open to saying, okay, I'll try this, or okay, I need help. Being open to the possibility that someone may be able to do something for me in the aspect of helping me get better. Um, and just being aware, of open for yourself, man. Like it's okay to not know what you don't know and to be afraid of
Yeah.
like the transitions that might take place. It's a scary thing to sort of change, to go from a
Mhm.
comfortability that you might have in life to not knowing and then figuring out. But being open and to that change, I think is the biggest biggest takeaway I've learned from this so far, man. Like I was super against moving. I was super against
Mhm.
trying this. But realizing that like now that I'm in a space where I can feel more comfortable, you start to feel a little bit more confident, just by opening yourself up to just different opportunities and different things.
Love that, man. Love that. The boss himself, Karl Hanner, out
Yeah,
here,
man. Soon,
out
three
here
months, three
preaching.
months, 3 months, bro. I'm telling you, it's such a grind and such a drive, but it's just like
Yeah.
you also get sort of a high off of it. Like, and I
Hmm.
don't want to mean like demean it that way, but like, man, I can see so many things clearer now versus like, one of the things that you sorry sidebar, like that you sort of
Yeah.
questioned me earlier was like, where do I see myself 3 to 5 years? Man, I made 10-year plans since I was 17. Like I
Mm-hmm.
literally have these old ass discolored papers that I used to post on my wall by my door and like start to check things off on what I think that I wanted. And it helped me to understand that like you need that guidance, bro. Like you need that guidance. So I'm I'm telling myself, man, to keep chipping away at that mountain, to keep working at what I can work at, keep being open and just pushing. Gotta push.
Right, man. I mean, I'm gonna be real. You're one of the most brilliant individuals that I know. I met a lot of people in my life. You are a dope individual, man. And
I
so the
appreciate that.
fact that, yeah, man, the fact that those companies missed out, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, they missed out. It's it's a lot, man. And I know that navigating the transitions, it's like there's so much more that we could go into detail about. Aside from the 40, 30 or 40 minutes that we've been talking, we might have to jump on a part two, honestly, at some point. In a few months to be like, yo, what's
That
good?
check in. I'm telling you, man. I'm like right now. I got so many coals in the fire. I'm excited. Like this is a good time of
Yes.
life, man. Good time of
Yes,
life.
man. I love to hear that, bro. But yeah, man. Until the next time we record one of these, I just hope you. I wish you the best, my dude. And but no, thank you for the time. I'm glad we got a chance to uh capture this moment for our relationship too, man. So I hope you have a good day,
Already
bro.
know. I appreciate that, man. You too. And to your
No.
point, man, forget them other companies. That's not the word I want to use. But just like you mentioned, just like you mentioned, dog, that personal development gym, man. Like I swear I said the same thing that you was talking about. Like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and show them. I'm gonna be better than them because
Right.
they should say yes. They
Right.
should have said yes. They should have said yes.
Literally.
We're gonna be good.
Right, man. All right, bro. I hope you have a good rest of your day, man. For real.
Appreciate it.
Real big. I know one day I would do it real big.